Hello, and as always, thank you for tuning in to Adventures of D-Webb Enterprises LLC. Today, I basically want to just talk about how I got my LLC and why I recommend for any business or company owner to get an LLC before they start proceeding with doing business. So, long story short, I tried to educate myself prior to actually getting a third-party company. So, I looked it up and I did my research, and I found out that it was going to cost me a minimal of $125 here in Pennsylvania because I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I had to figure out how to get an LLC in Pennsylvania because every state has a little bit of a difference. I mean, it's just a bit of a different cost and a little bit of a different legality on how you have to get it. So I found out in Pennsylvania it cost me at least $125, and at that point I didn't exactly know how to get in a hold of the state and or government to make sure I was doing everything legally and make sure I was going to be a legitimate business. So I started looking up third party alternatives, and that's where I honestly, it's not a sponsored video, so everything I'm saying is just solely through doing business with them and appreciation. So I found inkauthorities.com. You can look up to find them, and basically they're based out in Reno, Nevada, and they were very helpful. Everyone on their customer service was very friendly. I'm not gonna lie, when I first found them, it was later at night, so I just filled all my information out on the website, and whenever it came up to the total for the cost after I got the EIN number, employer identification number, and the operating agreements, and once I basically knew I had everything I needed in the LLC to go and create a business bank account, I found out it was going to cost me $235.40 using the inkauthority.com. So honestly, in my head, I said I knew it was going to at least be 125. So for another $111 to make it a total of $235.40, I don't know. I took the easier way out on this one, but I never had created an LLC before, and I was honestly a little bit on a time spree because I needed it done by the time the NFL season came out, because as I mentioned in prior videos, I sell NFL tickets. I'll get into that in a little bit, but long story short is I knew I needed it by the time the NFL season came out, which was Wednesday, May 12th, 2021 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, was whenever I was going to be able to release my tickets onto Ticketmaster and have them up for sale. So I knew I needed it by that date. So I figured since I was filling it out, it was only Tuesday, March 30th, 2021 when I contacted them and filled it out that night. And I called them the next day. That's where I was saying the customer service was great. I'm the type of person where if I don't understand something or I need to know something, I'm going to ask. I'm just going to keep asking a bunch of questions, even if I didn't fully understand. So I asked basically the same question twice. I will do that to make sure I understand if it deals with my business and doing business. So long story short, their customer service was great. Answered everything, made sure I understood everything, made sure I was happy. And then basically that happened on March 30th, 2021. It happened the next day I made the phone call. And then they recontacted me a week later from that on Wednesday, April 7th, 2021. And they basically called me, which again, good customer service, and said, hey, all your paperwork's ready. We're going to send it into the state. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I already paid, obviously. So I was like, it's good that they wanted to double check, but I knew I wanted them to do it. So I had them send it into the state. And now, again, that was on Wednesday, April 7th, 2021. At that point, they did warn me. They said, we don't know if it's due to COVID-19, like because everything shut down for a while, maybe everything's on back order, and or if it was due to just maybe randomly right now, a lot of people are applying in Pennsylvania for an LLC. They couldn't give me an exact reasoning, but they said there was going to be a little longer than normal wait. They said it might be up to a month, even up to 30 business days possibly, but at the time, I knew I had about a month and a half to spare, so I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to pay the extra to get it hurried up. We'll just see what happens. And I was getting nervous. I'm not going to lie. I almost contemplated calling, but they called me the Friday before I needed it, which was Friday, May 7th, 2021, and told me that, hey, everything's ready. You can take it up to the bank and do everything you need to do to create a business bank account. So at that point, I was super ecstatic. I almost was going to call that Monday because I was worried about not being able to get it in time because I needed it by May 12th, 2021. But again, I was so happy they managed to do it. So I got my LLC. I was able to go to the bank. Now, I made a bunch of phone calls that Friday and into that Monday morning. I called about 7 to 10 different banks, and honestly, had I had more time, I would have tried to find a nationwide bank. I'm not gonna lie. If you're like me, a young entrepreneur, and you live somewhere that you think you might end up moving away from, or you don't know basically your long-term goals, I just suggest going with a nationwide bank because I don't know, it's just easier come the time when you do move, or if you like just change where you are and they don't have it locally, you're gonna have to basically cancel your other bank account and open up a new one anyways. So why not just go nationwide and know everywhere will have it? Now you'll have to do your own research. I called 7 to 10 banks, and honestly just about everywhere had about the same offering for a new business bank account. Now again, I just did the standard stuff. I didn't do anything special because I'm new to it. I don't know exactly how well I'll need it. So I just wanted to basically have somewhere I could accept money as a business. So that's why I created the LLC and needed the employer identification number, EIN, most people call it, and also needed the operating agreements just so that I could go and create the business bank account. So again, that's how I created it. So that's the first part of the video I wanted to state, just like how I created it. Again, a shout out to Inc Authorities. Just basically look up incauthorities.com, call them if you have questions. I honestly filled it out and then called the next day, but I was willing to do it because it is cheaper. I'm not telling anybody to be lazy. You can definitely do it yourself and do all the steps and be a little cheaper, but to me, it seemed like a lot that I didn't understand at the time, and for an extra $111, it was $235.40 total. I said I'll just go with them and just make my life easier. And again, that's why I would have made this video earlier on in my YouTubes, just like because I'm only 6 or 7 videos in, so I would have made this probably like my second or my first one, but I just basically wanted to make sure they were a legitimate company. And as I stated, today is only Thursday, May 13th, 2021. So I only opened up my bank account, honestly, on Monday. So I only just finished it. So it did take time. Now, they told me it was going to be a wait even up to 30 business days. So they were more than in the time zone that they gave me. But again, I appreciate them. They did everything. They were very cool. Now, one thing I always want to say in all my videos, I say this: if the lighting's bad, or I stutter, or I just like get off track ever, and I try to make sure I don't like keep spewing off, but basically I'm saying I film on a cell phone. Everything I do is not edited. One day, if I get more people following my YouTube channel, I appreciate anybody who's watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. But basically, as I get more of you guys watching me, I would love to take the time to learn editing better so that whenever I'm talking, I can have words pop up, make it a little more exciting, or like have it clip over to a new clip whenever I'm talking about something or say a joke, so that it just keeps people more entertained. Because I do apologize, pretty much all my videos, not pretty much, they all are just me lecturing, but I am business related, all my topics on YouTube, so basically it is just me giving out facts and trying to educate you guys a little bit. Not that I know everything, so please, again, comment if I'm ever doing anything wrong. I want to make sure I'm doing everything correct. I'm trying to be a great entrepreneur. I'm young, so I know I'm going to make mistakes. I just don't want to make big mistakes. So thank you for anybody who's watching. That was the first part. I just wanted to say that's how I got it. So incauthorities.com, they were a great website. Now, I want to just also explain that I do sell tickets, so that's why I wanted the LLC and the business bank account. Now, I just always got to do my own little business speech. I do sell NFL tickets. I only currently have tickets in the Pittsburgh Steelers here at Heinz Field, Pennsylvania, in my hometown, and then I also have tickets in Las Vegas, Nevada, Allegiant Stadium with the Raiders. So I just want to always say, if anybody is interested in buying any of the season tickets for those games, for any of the games in those stadiums, please hit me up, and I would more than happily send you the tickets. Now, how we would do that is, obviously, if you don't know me, even though I promise you I'm trying to be as legitimate and make people feel as comfortable as they can, I understand a lot of people don't want to send me money. So what we would do is I put them up on Ticketmaster. I will tell you the seats I have, and you'll look them up, see the price I'm asking for them, and we'll just lower the price and meet whenever, like, because I'm not going to charge you full price that I would charge somebody I don't know at all. If you branch out to me, I'll give you a better deal. So I'll lower my price on Ticketmaster. You'll reload the channel or the page up till you see that I changed it. You'll purchase it, and then that's it. It's over and done with, and you have it. And if anything happens to the event, you know Ticketmaster sold it to you, so you're comfortable knowing they will, you know that they will do anything to make sure you're completely safe. So you don't have to worry about me being a scam or anything like that if we do it through Ticketmaster. I'm definitely not a scammer. I hate that people even assume that when I'm trying to bring up that I sell NFL tickets, because it is a weird thing that older generations don't really understand, and it seems odd, but it's honestly a whole entire industry. There's tons of people that make tons of money off doing it, and I'm just at the baby stages, so my hardest thing is just getting my name out there. That's why I finally got excited and made this YouTube channel, to just have my face more legitimate and have it so that I'm obviously telling people what I'm doing, and it's just that I'm not being a shifty character, because I want to be a great entrepreneur myself. So I just basically want to continue on saying, please hit me up if you are interested in either one of those home games in the Allegiant Stadium with the Raiders and or Heinz Field with the Steelers. And I also get any sort of concert or any sort of event that happens in either of those stadiums. So if you know that there's a concert or a boxing event going on in Allegiant Stadium, please branch out to me and I can get you tickets, but you have to tell me before the pre-sale starts, because that's how I get them first, because I can get on the pre-sale list. So other than that, I really appreciate it. And also, I'm trying to expand my portfolio. So anybody who has season passes to any sport, it doesn't have to be NFL, that's just all I own right now. You can have MLB, you can have NBA, NHL, or NFL. Just tell me the location of your seats, obviously what team, what stadium they're for, and tell me what you're asking for me to be able to purchase the rights off of you. So if you do have some sort of number in your head that you want, just tell me what it is. I'll do my information and reach out to you and say I'll either pay this much or I'll say yes. And then all we have to do is contact the team and have them transfer the rights from you to me, and we can have you paid. So that's all we have to do. It's very simple, and anybody who's interested in getting rid of their season passes, you don't have to explain why. I don't care if it's a financial situation, if you're just getting older, you could have kids and don't have enough seats for everyone. Whatever it is, just feel free to branch out to me. You can do it through this channel and or look me up, D-Webb Enterprises, LLC.com, and definitely branch out that way. I'm more than happy to talk. I have my phone number out on the website you can find. So other than that, now I want to get into the second part of the video and basically say why I think that it is very intelligent to have the LLC. So I'm going to use two different prime examples. One is for the tickets, the selling the NFL tickets, and one is for my future. I want to own rentals. As I've mentioned in other videos, I do have a house that I'm fixing up right now. Hopefully by the end of the NFL season, if not the end of this actual 2021 year, I can have it up on the market, rented out. But we're just going to see how it goes on the time. I'll make more videos maybe about how I'm working on it. But long story short, I'm going to use an example for both of them. The one example I want to use for the NFL is, so for example, I know that the season opener for the Raiders is going to be a huge event. People are going to be so excited. So say I have 6 seats in there. Say I sell 4 of them to a guy and his family, and he takes his 2 little boys with him and his wife. So they're all hanging out there having a good time, and the guys behind them are drinking a lot and just acting rowdy and have a bunch of food, and they're cheering, and say the beer and their food falls on like one of the little kids and makes a huge mess. And of course the kid's going to be upset. No one would ever want this to happen. I don't even like talking about crazy bad examples, but like, you have to protect yourself. So again, so say you're in that situation and you're the dad. Now, I don't have kids yet. I can't wait to have them, but I can only imagine how I would feel in that situation. I would not want to get into a physical altercation, but I obviously would have to spin around and say, hey, you guys, can you please quit misbehaving or whatever. Somebody will probably say something if that happened to their son or daughter or whatever. And then say the guys are drinking, or even if they're not drinking, just say they're giving attitude and being jerks about it and just being obnoxious. And somehow no one would ever want this to happen, but it does happen. So say it leads into a physical altercation, and the guy that I sold tickets to's kid gets hit or knocked over by the other person that dad got into a fight with, and they're seriously hurt. Now at this point, obviously they're probably going to try to go after the people that hit them, But say they somehow don't get anything out of them. Say they tried then going after the stadium, like Allegiant Stadium, for allowing that situation to happen, and then say that doesn't work. What if now they decide that the only other alternative is to now come after the person who sold them the season ticket, or not the season ticket, but the ticket to that game? So that's why I want the LLC, because it might never even be legally possible for that to happen, and it's sad to think that we live in a world that even could happen, but you have to face facts, and people sue over the craziest things, so you need to protect yourself, honestly. So that's why I wanted it for the tickets. That was like, it could be a crazy case scenario, could not ever happen, but I need to be safe, especially being young. I'm only very early in my entrepreneurship, and I don't want to lose everything I have and start back over from square one because I got sued. And I'm only 24, so I'm not college educated. If I lose everything that I have invested into what I'm doing, I'd be at the same situation as somebody just finishing high school, but I'm 6 years older. So that's not an option for me. I need to protect myself. So the other thing I'm trying to say, why I also knew I needed it for this year, the LLC, not only for the business bank account to be able to collect money for the tickets, but I needed it so that I could then be able to know I'm safe at my rental property, which I honestly should have already had this before I purchased it. Knock on wood and thank you, fingers crossed, nothing bad ever happened prior to this. But nothing ever happened ever, I meant to say, not prior to this, but prior to me getting the LLC, nothing bad ever happened. But basically, my rental property I'm trying to fix up is in a low income area. So I'm not talking negative by any means about that, because it's a great investment. But that just basically means, like, especially here in Pittsburgh, the towns were developed freaking almost 100 years ago. So basically what I'm trying to say is the houses are small and they're close together, not much yard. Basically, it's your house. You might have a little tiny area in the front, and then you're on the sidewalk in the street. And obviously, the sidewalk is public property. So just as an example, say a dad and his young boy or daughter is going down the road, and she's either skateboarding, rollerblading, scootering, it doesn't matter, whatever she's doing, riding a bike, and she falls off the bike. Now, for example, I'm just using exactly like from my house. So in my house, I have like a little garden area that leads up to where the sidewalk is. Now, since the sidewalk's public area, the garden area has like bricks spaced out so that it's a little separate from the road and the sidewalk, and it's about maybe thigh high. It's not like super tall, but it's at that right area where a 9-10-year-old could fall over and land funny on their arm and break it, or land on their neck and break their neck, and or just hit their head and gouge their head and have a concussion. And at that point, obviously the parent, it's a sad world to think this, because most people would hopefully think that, okay, mistakes happen, that was her fault, she fell, and just go to the hospital and handle it like that. But a lot of people will somehow try to say it was my fault because that was my wall, and basically sue me. And that's why it's so important to have the LLC, because that just protects me. Because if I'm not staying at the house and I'm just fixing it up, and I'm not home at nighttime there, and basically something happens where I'm there and I'm doing work and I don't see what happens and I can't defend myself, I could get sued and be in a vulnerable situation. And now that's why, honestly, a lot of landlords that own multiple properties, and I will have to contemplate this if my portfolio keeps growing, not keeps growing, but if I do buy another house or whatever, I need to think about opening up a second LLC, because some people will go to the extreme to have every single house under its own individual LLC, because that way, no matter what happens at any property, you will be protected. Now, I'm not recommending anybody that owns 25 properties to go get 25 LLCs, but maybe every 2 or 3 houses keep under its own LLC, so that in no circumstance can you ever lose everything you have over a little kid falling and getting hurt, or something just dumb happening on your property that you had nothing to do with. So again, I really appreciate anybody's time. I just wanted to basically give the example of how I got mine. Again, a shout out to Inc. Authorities. I appreciate that website. And again, that company, I'm sorry, it's not just a website, it's a company out in Reno, Nevada. They definitely did everything awesome. And just wanted to explain 2 situations where you pretty much could lose everything if you don't have the LLC to protect you. So again, it's just something to contemplate. Everyone has their own opinion. and I apologize to always be lecturing. I just appreciate anybody's time and anybody who comments, like, shares, subscribe. My name's Dylan Webb, and this is D-Webb Enterprises, LLC, and we're watching the Adventures of D-Webb Enterprises, LLC. Thanks.